Hola, bellas. De regreso otra vez. We're so happy that you're tuning in back. Yo soy Alejandra.
Jackie the One.
And here with our guest, Jasmine, a.k.a.
Esoteric Esa.
Yay! Okay. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's such an interesting topic. Have you heard, Jackie, have you learned about numerology?
No, I've heard of it for the first time when Leslie told us we were going to be interviewing numerology. I was like, okay, what is numerology? Because I'm kind of familiar with that area or aspect, but not so much. So I'm very interested in what you do and everything about that.
Yeah, before you explain what that is, like, can I introduce yourself? Like, people who just, first time ever heard about you, like, how would you explain what you do, your work?
Of course. I am, in a nutshell, because there's so much to talk about. I am Esoteric Esa. I am your esoteric homegirl. What I focus on is destigmatizing the negative misconceptions in Latinx community around all the different areas of spirituality. So numerology, astrology, crystals, tarot, everything that I think most of us who predominantly grew up in a Catholic household might find a little bit terrifying, even though it's just an extension. It really is just an extension of our ancestral lineages and what our abuelas and our great abuelas did and shared, So I help women discover these tools to assist you in further understanding your empowerment and your strengths. Like, my whole goal is just to make everyone I come across feel empowered because I've utilized that in my own journey and I feel like a badass. Can I cuss?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. I could go on and on.
So, because I think that's so important, because before I found out about like numerology, I also had that misconception, es el diablo,
like brujería and stuff like that.
Which, there is good and bad. There's good and bad to everything. And then once I started learning more, I'm like, wait, they have it all wrong. Why are they trying to scare us away from this that can help us?
They don't want you to know. They want to keep us asleep. But that's part of why we're all rising now. Yes. You women wanting to wake up, all of us wanting to make ourselves aware, because we're having this shift, most especially in the people of color community, to start harnessing our lives and taking control of what knowledge we want to take in so we can start furthering and progressing as a community. And so these esoteric tools like numerology just give you a better understanding of, okay, what are your strengths? What are you good at? What are your weaknesses even? Because we need to know our weaknesses, right? And that's how we become better. And so maybe there's this whole stigma of it's brujeria. Sure, yes, it can be. It just depends on the individual. It can be good and it can be bad, just like with anything you do. There's multimillionaires, right? But look at Donald Trump and then look at Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, right? They're both millionaires, but they're different energies. It just depends on how you're working with your own energies. So
it's so mind-blowing because because you said it helps you to kind of learn about who you are, right? Kind of like to how do you dive into your strengths and your weaknesses. So how has it helped you personally, though?
Ooh, God, tremendously. But I think it's helped me in a sense, like, it laid the foundation for me to really understand the blueprint of my soul. And help me get to better understand what my life's work is and my life's mission. And then from there, it led me on to different modalities of healing. So from numerology, then I got deeper into astrology, and then I got deeper into figuring out Reiki, and then figuring out, all these other wellnesses, holistic wellness practices. But for me specifically, it's really helped me just focus like my mission and my journey and understanding what I really am here for. Because for a while I was really lost. I was so lost. Don't we all go through that?
Yes.
Right? Like we don't always have it. We don't always have it all together.
Yeah.
And so that really helped me understand some pieces to my puzzle. So that's what I could say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what made you interested in this area?
Well, it's so funny. I say this all the time. I was born in a predominantly Catholic household, ran by my father, the patriarch. Love my dad.
Yeah.
My grandma, who is my mom's mom, is a psychic and a tarot reader. So growing up, that's where I get all this from. So growing up, she was reading my palm at the age of 9. She was giving me like tarot readings. She was gifting me rose quartz and amethyst for my birthday. I was like, well, okay, these are cool rocks. Like, I didn't know any better. And then I had my dad on the other side of like, no, Virgin Mary. She's, she's the end all be all. We love her. So I had like this tug of war.
Wow.
And I was actually like a closeted spiritualist for a long time. I was at home like buying my books. You know, my grandma would like, she'd be hooking me up. She's like, here's a book on Nostradamus. So read this. Get back to me later. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was fostering me. But for a long time, I was scared. I was like, oh my God, this is negative. And then it took a whole spiritual awakening for me to understand that this is actually part of our culture. And if you find the curiosity to look into it, I say honor the curiosity, because there's something there that your higher self is asking you to find out about yourself that can help you in that transitional moment in your life, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I know you're going through that right now. I'm so happy for you.
How did you feel that moment where you quote unquote came out of the closet of spirituality? Like, because you know, you were kind of keeping it to yourself.
Totally. Oh my God, you guys, I was scared. I was totally scared, mostly because of my dad. Because my whole thing is like, I've always wanted to make my dad proud. Like, I've always strived to like make him proud. First generation, first to go to college, first to graduate from college. And so I almost felt as if I was kind of betraying him. But then I felt I was betraying myself more than I was betraying him by not being honest with me and my journey. And so I would slowly like drop nuggets and kind of just, you know, hint here, like, oh, I, you know, went and bought a book on palmistry. Okay. You know, little by little, I was planting the seeds. And then finally, just one day we had a conversation, and he was like, listen, it makes you happy. I get it. And you're learning a lot about yourself. Just promise me you'll never do anything bad. And I'm just like, yeah, of course. Like, you know, I'm not an evil person. But but that goes back to like the deep conditioning we have, like the doctrine that's been passed on from the Spaniards through Christianity. You know, it's layers and layers and layers and layers that we're trying to break through. And so us here are the ones in our generation who are doing the work, and it's not easy. And so I say to anyone who's going through that, it's going to be tough. It's going to be scary. It's going to be intimidating. You're going to feel lonely. But after you get through that, it's so liberating for yourself.
I think that's an important point you bring, because my mind is still blown how I grew up Catholic too, going to church every Sunday, you know, praying, which I still praying.
Of course.
But it always blown my mind that we're following a religion that was forced upon our ancestors. That still blows my mind.
Yes.
Like, what? So I've always been curious. Then what is my real religion? What did my ancestors believe in? What was the, you know, what was
that questioning
before we were forced upon it and massacred and all that stuff. So you reminded me of that like curiosity that I have. So
that is such a beautiful question. And I think that's so important for all of us to go within and ask that of ourselves. I'm a big advocate of spirituality is anything you make of it. And I'm an advocate of duality. If you want to be a Christian, but you still want to go and, do your sound baths and you want to go and practice tarot, then that's on you. That's on that's your journey. That's no one to judge. And I take a little bit of a lot. My husband is Hindu, so there's a lot of Hinduism that I adapt in my own practices. I still pray to my angels from my Catholic Christian, aspect. And then I have my whole metaphysical that I've taken from my grandmother of working with my ancestors and my spirit guides. So what is spirituality? What religion should I be practicing? A beautiful question. That's up to you to just figure out. And there are no rules, in my very humble opinion, when it comes to spirituality. It's what your soul feels compelled to practice that is empowering you. At the end of the day, if you're going to church, and I don't want to throw shade to any religion in particular, but if you're going to church and you're feeling after you left that sermon, after you left the misa, and you feel like, damn, I'm a shitty ass person. I had to say 5 Hail Marys and 10 Our Fathers. You know what I'm saying? And if you leave somewhere feeling as if it didn't empower you, then that's when you need to maybe possibly step back and say, okay, what am I really getting away from this experience? Because spirituality is just all about helping our souls progress. In my humble opinion.
Wow. That's really relieving to hear, because I always felt like kind of confused, like, oh, but should I follow a certain structure? Like, can I be this and that? Why can't I just cherry pick? Now that you said that, I'm like, okay, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, because I was raised in a Christian household, like Christian. So for me, like, all of this is very like new, like I was like, what is that? Like, I'm interested. I've always like what if I go get my palm read? But in my back of my head, because I was raised as Christian, no, that's a sin. So to me, it's just like I kind of, and then I don't, because of the way I was raised. So I'm like trying to see, because there was one time where I was at Sephora and some girl just came up and started reading me. I'm just like, oh my god! I was like, no, like this is against my religion. Like, no.
But the cross.
Well, first of all, she should have asked you for permission.
Yeah,
a little weird,
like,
but
okay. I was like, but no, like I don't believe. It's not that I don't believe in it. It's just that I've never been exposed to it. So this is on you to me. So I'm just like listening to you, like just like not even talking. I'm just like, okay, like I want to learn more.
Can I add to what you just said? Do you guys mind? Okay, so just to throw this out there. You know, our ancestors, whether it's the Toltecs, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Incas, okay, all of our indigenous roots have been so divinely connected to the cosmos. They understood that we are in tune with the universe. And so they understood the power and the connection of spirit. We all are spirit. We're all extensions of spirit, and we all carry spirit within us. And so I understand where maybe the fears come from Christianity, where, if you're messing with tarot and palm reading and psychic, it's because you're messing with, you know, outside influences where everything should come from God.
And then it's like you're kind of questioning.
You're
like
questioning God's divinity and all that. But in reality, what you're doing is, if your intentions are right, you're working with God. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's why the approach comes down to the person. So I'm very picky with who I allow into my energy. And I don't mean to say this to scare anyone, but if someone comes up to me and reads my palm, I'll be like, listen, did I ask you? Like, you know, unless I really trust you.
Did I ask?
So be very particular with your gut instincts of who you allow into your energy, because this is your sacred energy. This is your sacred energy. And sometimes people, you know, they're shady. They'll want to come in and say, ooh, Alejandra's doing good. Let me go and, like, you know, try and mess with her head or whatever. So people don't always have the right intentions, right? So that's just something to throw out there. But yeah, I get it. It's new, so it's a little bit like intimidating, right?
Yeah, it is.
What would you suggest people who like are hearing about this and now they're curious? Because I've been like Googling a lot, so I've kind of learned about myself. But I feel like I'm gonna make an appointment with you, because she does.
I do numerology.
Numerology reading, So what do you suggest people do
in terms of learning more about?
They just right now they just got that curiosity of numerology.
Okay, well, I would definitely suggest that you go ahead and start with a great platform called numerologist.com, and they offer free videos that you can go and put your birth date, and they do this comprehensive video report free, like 5 minutes, to give you like a dip your toes in to understand more about your numerology numbers. But then if you want further info, you can always take it upon yourself to research and buy books. I'm an advocate of buying books and supporting authors and publishers. And then if you want, seek out an actual numerologist, because shameless plug, but you guys, a lot of the whole process is I don't just read numbers. I do my best to intuitively go within and channel and work with my guides and with Source to help get the message across to you. And I love to tell people, I'm not here actually healing people. And when you meet healers, it's not them, with all due respect. Yes, they are healers. But what it is you're welcoming God and Source to come through you and allow you to help people out. And so it's just all about the process of lifting each other, because if you're called to go towards numerology and understanding more, I say please honor it, because there's a message there that's waiting for you, that's going to help you. And maybe you're going through a hard time. Maybe you feel lost, you feel confused, or you just want to empower yourself a little bit more. You can learn so much about yourself through your numbers, because numbers have a lot of meaning to them. Numbers, if you think about it, you guys, in the Bible, there's John 3:16, right? There's all these number scriptures, and there's meaning behind them. You think about the Holy Trinity, right? The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. 3 right there. 3 is a divine number. So numerology and astrology, actually, and crystals can be found in biblical passages that back then people knew.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then as religion goes along, a lot of things get tweaked, a lot of things get lost, and then it becomes more about control and power, right? So take it upon yourself to educate yourself. Educate. Because also anything that I say may not resonate with you, and it's not, you know, like, we don't all have the answers. It's up to you now to take what I'm sharing with you, and maybe you get this spark and this creativity to run off, and then through your research you find something new of an extension of numerology that then you could start sharing, you know, because it's all about us. You know, we're a web, we're a network.
Yes.
We're all spinning this web together to help each other out, and it's not all about me and all about you. And if you come across someone who just wants to keep knowledge to themselves, then I say you stay away from those people, because that's ego right there. And when you're working with spiritual practitioners, just be mindful. If they come off as egoic, that's a red flag to just stay away, because humility is so important.
Like, how do you know who has a good vibe or a bad vibe, and how to stay away? Like, how would you know?
Oh, that's such a great question. You will intuitively know, but there are times, even till this day, that I find myself coming across people, even in the spiritual community, no shade but shade, there are people who are not as real as they come out to be. And so sometimes, as much as I even myself try to prevent meeting people who are not genuine, sometimes I need that. Sometimes I need that person who's not real or not true or not genuine, because I needed to get better at establishing my boundaries. So there's always the lesson, right? There's always the golden nugget behind it. But I say just go with your intuition. You know it.
How do you, a great transition, because I was about to ask about intuition, like how... For people who don't know, like, how do you, like, maybe little steps, like, how do you begin to tap into your intuition? Because I feel like sometimes life is just so fast. Living here, you know, you're working this, and that, and you don't have time to just, like, sit, breathe, relax. What do you suggest?
Okay, yes. Beautiful question. Especially us as millennials, we are on the go. We got to get shit done. And we're in the rat race, especially in LA and New York, all these busy cities. It's who's on the come up. Who's better than who? Who's next? I'm first, number one, right? And so we're so focused on the drive. We're very focused in our masculine energy that we forget intuition comes from feminine energy. And everyone embodies it. So males have divine feminine and divine masculine. You have divine masculine, divine feminine, all of us, right? Because it's all about the yin and the yang. And so when you're out of alignment, you're not going to feel in tune with your intuition. And your intuition, actually, you guys, ladies, is what makes you have your creative moments. Creativity is so connected to your intuition. So take time, even if it's just 5 minutes. I do this myself every morning for at least 5 minutes. Or at the end of the day, when my husband's in bed, my dog's in bed, I'm like, damn, this was a long ass day. And I'll take 5 minutes to myself, and I would just try and ground myself, because we're so in our minds all day, right? We're thinking what's next. Grounding ourselves, even if it's just a simple, let me take a walk in the backyard barefoot. Let me just meditate with my crystals for 5 minutes. Let me just sit for a moment and say, thank you for another day. I'm so grateful for my health, blah, 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 right? Those are ways to start getting in tune with your intuition. Now, the next step would be, and I love sharing this with people, is starting by buying books, okay? But look, when you're on Instagram and you're looking at all those photos, try when you stop and you see a photo and start with headshots first. Headshots of people when they're selfies and stuff like that. Don't judge. Take away judgment, okay? But try looking at the photo and connecting with the image and seeing, what was this person feeling? What is the emotion and the energy I'm getting from this photo? And it has to come from here, not from here. So if it's like, oh, she looks stupid. Oh, she got lipstick on her teeth, right? Like, no, that's not connecting with the image. That's judgment. And so that's a great way to keep trying to practice with your intuition. That's a simple exercise, but there's so many.
And then you're being mindful too, because sometimes we're just like scroll. But now it's like, okay,
or just like
wow, that's just, it makes a difference though, because sometimes like my head hurts when I just scroll.
I know.
So you mentioned crystals, so kind of asking for myself, but anyone who's curious about crystals too, because I was just gifted a few crystals from Karma Bliss. Shout out to Karma Bliss.
Nice.
From Debbie Brown. So people who are curious about crystals, is there any books you suggest, or how do you suggest people to get into tune with crystals or knowing how to use them?
Love it.
Or another question, like, what's the purpose of crystals?
Oh, okay, let's start with that. Great question. Purpose is Well, just like you and I, just like the tree outside and the birds in the sky, crystals are conscious beings. I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds super ridiculous, but they are actual functioning beings. They carry frequency. They carry energy. So when we work with them, we're working with the energy that they're assisting us with. So there's so many crystals, right? Yeah. For stress, for anxiety, for strength, for courage, everything, prosperity. So if you're into discovering crystals, head out to a local metaphysical shop, a spiritual shop, and try not to go with, I want to find a rose quartz. I love to tell people, this is another intuitive exercise. Go, take a look, take as long as you need, and whatever crystal's calling to you, like, oh, that one's really sparkly. I can't stop looking at it. That's because that crystal's energy is matching your frequency and your vibration. And so it knows that you literally need it to work with it energetically. Wow. And then you can start utilizing it for meditation and for manifestation. I love using crystals for manifesting. Wow. And for meditating as well. But your follow-up question was, like, where can you learn more?
Yeah, learn more,
There's a lot of people on social who are credible, like Karma Bliss, right? There's Energy Muse. I don't know if you want to look up Energy Muse. My blog, I have info on that. But going into a spiritual shop and just asking, the people there are going to help you if you have a question. That's one of the best places, one of the best resources. I love the Crystal Bible book. That was my first book I ever bought. It's called the Crystal Bible book. And it literally has pictures of every crystal and the name and what you can utilize them for. And it's categorized by color. So it's like a simple, like 101 for beginners. It's really good.
Wow. Is there certain crystals that protect you from, like, just protecting you? Someone brought up a good point about like protecting your energy, because especially if you work in a customer service kind of job, or jobs where you're dealing with so much negative environment, maybe even just your coworkers. So much stress, so much negativity out. Is there one that, like, protects you from, like, protecting yourself? Like, I don't want to be in that ball of negative energy.
Yes, there are several.
Oh, there's several. Oh.
Any literally black or brown stones are great for deflecting negativity and for protecting your aura. Okay, any black, tiger's eye is a brown one, black onyx, black obsidian, any black or brown. Okay, and so absolutely. When you're in customer service or fields where you're working with a lot of energies, even when you come into places where you don't know, like today, I didn't know. I knew the house. I knew it was going to be old. I knew it had a lot of history. So I wanted to protect myself, not in a negative way, like, spirits, but just from extra energy, because there's a lot of people here.
Yes, of course.
And so I'm wearing my bracelets for that. You know, I'm wearing a red jasper to help energize me and ground me. I'm wearing my moonstone and my Dalmatian right here. And these are to help me with my energy, to protect me in terms of deflecting any sort of excess energy that we should not be taking on. Okay. Yes, protect yourself in terms of, no, you're not going to go catch a demon. You know what I'm saying? Like, in terms of just like, damn, Sally was extra salty today. She on a whole nother level, and her bad mood rubbed off onto me, right? You know how many times that happens?
It's so easy. It's so easy. Like, people start complaining, and then you, I think it's like that human instinct that you want to feel like you belong. Yeah. So you start complaining with them. I've caught myself doing that. I'm like, why am I complaining?
Right? Next thing you know, everyone's just like pity party, right? This is the test of you being more mindful when you catch yourself in those situations, to say, wait a minute, especially when you're an empathetic person, when you're someone who's sensitive to other energies, you are more prone to just riding that wave. And so you have to be mindful of, like, wait, is this really my energy, or is this like Frank's energy, right? And so stones can help you with that. And so any brown or black stones are great for that.
Wow. Yeah, I need that, because sometimes I catch myself like, wait, what? Or I just feel bad because I'm good, I'm happy, and they're not. So I want to feel their pain, or I don't know what.
You just you're sympathetic. That's what you are. You know, you want to make people feel comforted, and that's the nurture in you. And you got to be careful, you guys, especially us as Latinas. We are such nurturers. We take care of our family. We take care of our grandparents. We take care of everybody else. Wow. I brought extra lunch for my coworkers, and then you're like, oh shit, all I got is like this tortilla and beans, but okay, everyone's happy, right? And so it's like we're pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring out of our cup, but we have to be mindful of our own cup and making sure we have enough within our cup to pour, and so we're not running on low. Wow. especially as Latinas, I say we're so nurturing, we're so empathetic, we're so caring. And so sometimes we just have to be mindful. Wait a minute, let me take some time for myself. And crystals can really help you with that. Carry them in your bra, carry them in your pocket, wherever.
Wow, yeah, that is so important that our Latino community know that, because like all this stuff I wish my mom would know, because I would, just for her own health, like kind of like be aware what you're doing and like the energy you're putting out and the energy you're receiving. And it's, so I'm glad that you're exposing that to our Latino community, because
and now you two are going to take that and run off with it and keep telling.
I'm more curious. I'm just like trying to Google and stuff, like thinking like, okay, like what can I do now? Like, but then again, it's like that battle in me, like damn, like my mom's going to be against it, like if I try to research stuff and stuff. So it's just like, but I'm kind of curious. I've always been curious about it because even since I was like in my mom's like stomach, like because I wouldn't stop crying when I was a baby. So one of my aunts took me to some lady, a brujeria lady, and they said that somebody did like bad like energy to my mom while she was pregnant, and I caught it. So just like, wait, what's going on
here?
The
evil eye.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
So I was like, wait. I've been curious since my mom told me that story. So I was like, what's this about?
But see, the fact that your mom went and seeked out the curandera shows.
It was my aunt that took me.
Oh, it was you as a little kid. So see, your auntie is in with this. She in tune. So you know what? She's an ally. So if you feel comfortable having that conversation with her, explore that and see where does she get that from. Like, is she a curandera, or is so and so in the family a curandera? You know, because then that might mean that there is that lineage there, and you can start honoring that and connecting with that.
Yeah, she might know.
But now, like, my aunt's a Christian now, but before, like, she would believe in that stuff. So it's just like,
and you know, just be very protective of your journey. I know we want to show so much on social. I do a lot, but I'm very mindful of how much I show. You know what I'm saying? And so when it comes to your spiritual journey, you can do this all on your own and not have to worry about your mom finding out. Because if you know your mom's going to throw you out of alignment, just respect your own energy first. Out of love. Not like, you know, screw your mom. Absolutely not. But out of love for her and for you, so y'all don't be arguing, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I am so enlightened right now. I'm grateful. So, you know, we're going to get ready to wrap up. So where can people find you? All your social media links, we're going to put them on the video, and just where people can find you.
Well, y'all can find me on Insta at Esoteric_Esa. My blog is soulluminati.com. And you can go there for free resources. And then if you want to book a reading, hit me up on IG. I do numerology, but I also do natal chart astrology readings. And I also do something that's really cool is I also offer star seed readings. I know this is super out there, but a lot of us have ties to different star systems and constellations where we've incarnated in different places, not just Earth. And so I can help you tie your roots to were you in, you know, Orion's belt. It's other than the 12 zodiac signs. There's so many stars, you guys.
I'm a star guy. We're all stars.
But anyways, find my blog, Illuminati.com, my Instagram, and then I have Patreon.com, Esoteric Esa as well, where I have other reresources. So thank you, ladies, for this opportunity.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. My mind is like, oh, I need to Google this.
I know.
Bueno, pues thank you, Bellas, for tuning in. I'm so glad you guys are watching this. So informational, and I'm glad you guys are learning, and just, and like she said, honor that curiosity because it's so important.
I'm gonna honor that.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm excited.
And well, thank you guys. We'll see you next time. I'm your host, Alejandra.
Esoteric Esa.
Jackie Devon, and that's a wrap.
Bye.